Finally, batting cleanup, I'm pleased to welcome back a House author, Luis Urrea, to talk about his novel Goodnight, Irene, which is coming on May 23rd. Luis is known for his fiction and nonfiction set in the Mexican and Mexican-American world, his father's native culture. He was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize for his landmark work of nonfiction, The Devil's Highway, and a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award for fiction for his most recent novel, The House of Broken Angels. A recipient of an American Academy of Arts and Letters Award, among many other honors, he teaches at the University of Illinois in Chicago. Goodnight, Irene has been many decades in the making, and it's his first novel inspired by his mother's life. She was an East Coast WASP who fled difficult relationship and volunteered for the Red Cross during World War II. She ended up in a food truck as a so-called donut dolly, serving donuts and coffee to Allied GIs right on the front lines of the war. Thanks to her journals and to his own many years of research and interviews, Luis has created a fictional tribute that is one of the great untold war stories. It's an unforgettable story of intense friendship between two women on the front, and it's such an emotionally rich novel that his mother, looking down from the afterlife, must surely be very proud of her son. Luis, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Am I coming through? All right. It's so good to be back with you all. I apologize for our connection because I'm in a small hotel. I'm always on the road, and here I am again, just like my mom, the war. So she fled New York in 1943 to go be a war hero. She was in London when the first of the buzz bombs fell. She served at a B-17 base, and then she and her partners landed on Utah Beach and followed Patton across Western Europe. My mother was in the Siege of Bastogne, and then she and her partners were trapped in the Battle of the Bulge and got a recommendation, a from the US government as being the foremost. Went on to liberate Buchenwald. And my mother finally was nearly killed in a cataclysmic crash in the Bavarian mountains, a truck crash. And you know, I grew up with this little mystery about her. She screamed and cried and wept all night, every night, bad dreams every night. And she had a footlocker, and I was ordered, you know, she called me dear boy. She was very man. Manhattan in the 30s and 40s, dear boy, across from Buchenwald. And she then had to.
Luis, I'm afraid your connection is breaking up.
Me, what was this? Why do you have all these photographs? She said, you know,
Luis, I'm very sorry to say your connection is breaking up. I think your hotel Wi-Fi is failing us a little bit.
I'll try. I'll keep trying. I'm getting the unstable signal. Anyway, years later, after my mother had passed, we were researching, my wife and I, this story, and we found a woman, the last surviving donut dolly, who happened to be her best friend and her driver. And we thought they were all dead, but she was the last, and she lived 80 miles from our house, Miss Jill. And so Jill became our living witness. And I just want to say that when we drove down to see her for the first time and walked into her apartment, there was a huge portrait of my mother on the wall. So, you know, we've traveled all over Europe, all over the United States, retracing their steps, visiting with Miss Jill. Miss Jill was my guide from the age of 94 to the age of 102 when she died. And her personality is definitely reflected in Dorothy, the driver of the truck. And we've tried to put as many people as we can into the story, because I can't tell you how many people come up to me and say, oh, my dad was at that airbase. My dad was in the Battle of the Bulge. My dad was in Bastogne. So often when you see people getting donuts, it's actual soldiers who were there. And it's been an amazing experience for me to write this book, because I found out through this novel who my mother was. The mother I never got to meet, the person before the nightmares, the insouciant young woman from Richmond Village on Staten Island in the really old houses, that woman that I never knew. She was trapped in San Diego and wanted to go back so badly to Mattituck, Long Island. And the nice happy ending for this is that fate intervened, and I ended up being able to take her back home to Mattituck, where she spent the last 10 years with family. So I hope you like it. I'm very proud of it and haunted by it. Thanks.
Luis, thank you so much. I'm glad your Wi-Fi came back, because your backstory is almost as moving as the book itself, but it can't be quite as moving, because when you finish this book in the best possible way, you will have tears streaming down your face. And I'm so glad you're honoring your mother with such a masterful work.
Thank you.